Okay, so good morning again, everyone. My name is Jen. I'm from Cypher Learning. I worked as a director of e-learning integration in Cypher Learning, and I'm happy to have you in today's webinar about SAMR model. Probably most of you are already familiar with the SAMR model. Just a little bit of a background about me. I'm also a teacher, an educator, just like most of you are here. I teach in a university, uh, somewhere in Cavite, and I'm also part of the Microsoft Innovative Educator community as an MIE, and I'm also a Microsoft Educator Fellow. I also teach, I'm also a teaching with technology trainer, and I'm also part of the board of directors of the Philippine E-Learning Society. So as mentioned earlier, I'm currently the Global Director of E-Learning Integration for Cypher Learning. Cypher Learning is it's an e-learning company that's based in California in USA. So what the company does is the company provides a learning management system for schools, universities, and businesses. So what I'll be sharing with you today in this webinar, some of the experiences that I have, or I have some of the things that I've experienced as a teacher, and how SAMR model has helped me improve the way I teach, and how SAMR models also help improve the way that my students are learning. So we will try to make this as interactive as possible. You can, if you have any questions, you can type it in the chat box. Okay. So let me know if you're also seeing my screen. So the webinar's focus for today. I have three: looking back, looking forward, and getting ready. So this will be our theme for today's webinar. Later on, you'll find out why the theme is like this. So probably, I know that most of our here probably noticed that the change in education, especially in the education roadmap here in the Philippines, is really fast. It's changing so fast, and there's a lot of changes happening in the education roadmap, or in the education today, especially here in our country. We've come a long way from a classroom that is old as time. I'm not sure if you remember the looks of the classroom before. Decades ago, ano po ba yung mga naaalala ninyo na look ng classroom natin? Natatandaan niyo po ba yung classroom looking like this? Sino po ang nakaka-relate with this with this classroom? Ako, relate ako dyan. I can still remember back when I was during my elementary days, yung mga desk natin, wooden desk, tapos magkakatabi, tapos ang seating natin, seating arrangement, ganito din. In one line, tapos meron sa ilalim ng desk, may lalagyan ng mga notebook. So naalala natin lahat yan. Relate tayo dyan. Ayan, sabi ni Sir Gilbert siya daw, relate siya. Ako din, sir, kasi especially if you went to a public school, 'di ba? Ganito po yung mga classrooms natin. Ayan, si Ma'am Malu also is relate din siya dito. Up until now, I think there are still classroom that looks like this one. Especially sa DepEd school, sa LM, 'di ba? Pero for high school, medyo nagbago na. Pagdating ng high school, armchair na tayo. Pagdating ng college, armchair na din. And then, nagkakaroon na din ng change, nagkakaroon na ng television sa classroom or LCD. I'm not sure if some of you still remember yung OHP, overhead projector, yung may acetate, where you print your materials, tapos you put it in an acetate. O sa DepEd, meron pa din pong ganitong upuan. Ayan, ako din, naabutan ko yung OHP, Sir Alfie. Tapos ipiprint natin yon, ipo-photocopy natin, and then we put it. Ngayon, I don't know if there's still an OHP. So not only the facilities are like this, but also the way that we teach back in the days are different from how we teach now. Very traditional. Okay? And I'd like to share with you na ako din, as a teacher, before, ganito din ako. I was like, when I started teaching back in 2010, Very traditional din ako as a teacher. I stand in class and talk for hours. I write on the board. I do a lot of lectures. I do a lot of talking. And then my students are just there listening to me. And I'm like a spray and pray kind of teacher. I spray my students with information, and then at the end of the session, I pray that they remember something, or at least they remember not only the jokes that I crack in the classroom. Just like a one-way street kind of education for me, no? Ako lang yung laging nagsasalita, and my students are just listening. The students are given the chance to talk, and only when it's graded recitation. But you know, one day I just realized that it's probably not working anymore. I saw it in their faces that they kind of get bored already and not enjoying my class. And sometimes I myself gets bored in the way that I deliver the lesson. Minsan iniisip ko, nakakaantok din pala yung the way that I talk and the way that I deliver my lesson. But I realized that because our students today are different. They belong to a different generation. And I realized that we cannot teach them in the way that we were taught before. Iba na po kasi yung mga estudyante ngayon. Probably most of you can relate to this. Even yung young kids today who are not even in school yet, they already learn how to use technology. Natututo na sila even if they're not in school yet, di ba? So from then on, when I saw the look in the faces of my students, so parang they're getting bored, I need to do something. I need to change the way that I'm teaching and the way that I'm delivering my lessons in class. And I'm thinking of ways on how to do that. And later on, I'll be sharing you some of those ways. So what has changed from before, decades ago, up to now? Ano po yung mga changes that we have noticed in the classroom, and changes that we have noticed in the way that we teach, in the way that we learn, or in the way that the students learn. Okay? The way that the students learning are changing. Iba na po sila ngayon. They don't rely only on what we tell them inside the classroom. When we say something in the classroom, or if they hear a word that they don't understand, there are students who will not even bother to ask us teachers, what's the meaning of that word? Ano po yung una nilang ginagawa? Probably they will take their cell phones out and mag-data sila, and they will Google search for the meaning of that word. Okay? And because of this, even the way that teachers are teaching these days are also changing. Earlier, we're talking about overhead projectors, OHP, where we use acetate. Now, what do we use? We have LCD or LED television. We have smart boards. And even the way that the companies are choosing and hiring people to work in their organization are also changing. These are some of the most noticeable change that's happening now in education and in the industry. So the common changes in the classroom these are just some of the common changes in the classroom that I've also noticed, and some of the people are also doing it. Some of the schools are also doing it now. Online posting of grades and assignments. Probably heard of this. Group projects now can be completed through collaborative softwares. I remember I was part of a learning group where my group mates are from different parts of the Philippines, and we only communicate through a platform, and we were able to finish a group project. And believe me, we're 5 in a group. I only met one of my group mates in 6 weeks that we were working on a project. So assignments are also completed online and uploaded to different classroom portals. Students are using cloud storage instead of flash drives or paper to store their work. I'm sure that you can also relate to this. Konti na lang po siguro yung, well, there are still people who use thumb drives. Tayo, we use thumb drive, we use flash drive. But most of the students, they will just say, I'll store it in cloud, or I will save my work in cloud. Teachers, parents, students, and administrators are communicating via social media platforms designed for education. Okay. Yeah, see, Sir Gilbert is mentioning OneDrive. Yes, we do use OneDrive. We also have Google Drive, merong, what's that? But there's another, there's just a lot of storage, cloud storage now that the students and teachers are using. So these are some of the most notable changes in the classroom the classroom today. So what else do we have in those changes? Here, the classroom has been more technology enabled. Okay? The technology enabled learning environment. So from lecture theater to library, meaning from classroom to library. Okay? Students have very short attention span now. They need to be moving, they need to be engaged, they need to work. Otherwise, they will just be pretending to listen. So what we do now is, the lecture hours are being shortened and the other times are being used for students to work on a specific activity or specific project. Meron silang, binibigyan natin sila ng task on what to do. Some teachers are sending the students to a computer laboratory to work. Okay, so the video that you're seeing is a video from the school where I teach, where I have witnessed how that school has transformed from a traditional classroom to a now more technology-enabled classroom. So the students here are using a learning management system where they can access their lessons and assignments anytime and anywhere. So learning has also become mobile, okay? Meaning that students and teachers can have access to information and to lessons anytime, anywhere. The resources can be made available to everyone, anytime, anywhere. They can access it. Probably you notice most of your students or some of your students are no longer bringing notebooks in the classroom. They use their phones to record lectures or to do lectures, or they bring their laptops or devices sa lectures nila. Okay, so in the next 5 years, 5 to 7 years, it's also said that there will be a lot of other major changes in education, that includes changes in the layout and spaces of the classroom. There will be now one of the topics that's trending now is AR and AI. Okay, so there will be the rise of the VR and AR for education will be higher. So we will be much more engaged in differentiated learning. And then the emergence of MOOCs or massive open online courses, even for secondary education. So it's predicted that in the next 5 years, this is what's going to happen. And these changes can even become more aggressive. Okay? But probably you're wondering, what is the biggest driver of this change? Bakit nangyayari yung mga ganitong changes in education today? What shapes the roadmap of education today? Probably you're thinking, I know that you have those drivers of change, you have it in your mind right now. You can share it in the chat if you want. Okay, so for me, there are 3 major drivers of change that I could share with you. So in my years of experience in education and technology, I realized that the biggest drivers of change in education today, I call it LTI. So LTI stands for learner, technology, and industry. So for me, today, these are 3 of the biggest drivers of change in the education today. Learners of today are different. Okay, according to research, okay, most of our students are self-directed learners. 52% of them will use YouTube or social media for typical research assignments. Okay, and 33% of them will watch lessons online. Also, yung mga students natin of today, they belong to the Gen Z and the millennials. Especially yung mga bata ngayon nasa grade school and high school, they belong to the Gen Zers, multitaskers po sila. They multitask across at least 5 screens daily and spend at least 41% of their time outside of school with computers or mobile devices. While the millennials, 22%. Tayo, I'm not sure kung saan po yung mga participants natin today, I'm not sure kung saan tayong generation belong, but I belong to the Gen X. So, nasa gitna ako ng millennials and gitna or at least malapit-lapit ng konti sa millennial. Nakiki-millennial lang. Probably may linya sa noo. I think I belong to that generation, but I belong to the Generation Z. So the classrooms now are more modern. Xennials daw tayo, sabi ni Sir Gilbert. Xennial pala kami. So, yung classroom natin ngayon has changed a lot. Meron na tayo, dahil 21st century students natin today, ang classroom natin is also 21st century. So what is the characteristic of a 21st century classroom? Okay. We have a 21st century classroom because we have these kinds of learners. The kinds of learners that we have today are 21st century. So dapat the classroom also follows with the kind of students that we have. So 21st century classroom supposed to be student-centered, okay, technology-enabled, adaptive, okay, and it's much more personalized. So the way that the students learn, we adjust our teaching style to the way that the students are learning. It's also much more collaborative now, and it shows mutual respect to each other. Disaster-proof, this is one of the personal advocacies that I have. The 21st century classroom should also be disaster-proof. Kasi alam niyo naman natin dito sa Pilipinas, we are visited by typhoons on the average maybe 20 times a year. And most of those strong that classes needs to be canceled. And then we also have like a lot of holidays, wherein those holidays are non-working and non-school days holidays. So what happens now is if there's a holiday, classes are also suspended. And then what happens is we do makeup classes in the weekends. I'm not sure if meron pang nagme-makeup class in the weekends ngayon. But because it's already the 21st century and we already have technology to give access to students, make the learning materials available to students anytime, anywhere, probably makeup classes on weekends can already be avoided. Kasi meron na tayong mga technology available now. Okay? And then, of course, I was mentioning the drivers of change also in education. One of the drivers of change also is, Sir Afi said, I do makeup classes in NeoChat. Thank you, Sir Afi. So, the industry is of course one of another. The demand in the industry today are what you're seeing now. This is where the industry, this is where some of the businessmen are spending their money. They invest in this area: social media, education and technology, AR and VR gaming, automation. Okay, the skills that this industry needs or require is what we need to develop and enhance among our students. So these are now the trends in the industry. Tayo mga teachers, we play a very critical role in the way that the students gets to be hired or gets to be like eligible to work in the industry in the future. We are the ones preparing them. Sa classroom natin, doon natin sila hinahanda. There, in our classroom, there is where we prepare our students for these kinds of workplace that they will be facing in the future. Okay? And also, not only that they're investing in all of those things, but these are some of the activities now, okay? Some of the things that the industry or the business organization are already doing. So they invest in e-learning for employees, e-training, gamification for employee engagement, mobile learning, video-based training, micro-learning, and personalized employee learning. In the future, okay, the world of work will change even more. It will become more highly technological. Okay. The workplace will become a technological technology-based workplace, and we need to prepare our students for that. I'm sure you will agree with me that somehow we hold the future of our students in our hands. We're part of that. Okay? In our classroom, there is that's where our students are being prepared for the workplace. So yung mga trabaho that our students will have in the future, probably hindi pa yan na-invent. And it's going to be really highly technological. So tayo mga teachers, we need to prepare our students for that. Our classroom is the training ground for them, the foundation for them to be ready for the future. The foundation and the place where we get them ready to be part of the workforce. But the biggest question now, probably in our mind, is how do we do that? Okay? Parang it's a big challenge for us, educators. Lalo na yung sumabay tayo ngayon sa mga Gen Z na these are digital natives. Yung masyadong high-tech na yung mga students natin ngayon are so much adept with technology. Okay? So, for us to be prepared also as teachers, I stand by, or I use a framework that's called the SAMR model. There's a lot of framework for technology integration in the classroom that can help us, that we can use as a tool to also prepare our students. But SAMR model is one of the framework that I use, okay, in integrating technology in the classroom. Integrating technology in learning and in the classroom has been a huge challenge to most of us teachers and even in school. So as an educator who started as a traditional teacher, and what helped me a lot are the frameworks for technology integration. So as I mentioned, there's a lot that we can, a lot of technology, a lot of framework for technology integration. There's a lot that we can use, but SAMR is one of the things that has really guided me through. So SAMR is popularized by Dr. Ruben Pentedura. It stands for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. Probably some or most of you are already familiar with this model, but this is one of the models that helped me transform the way that I teach and the way that my students learn. This is also the same model that I use when I train teachers on how to use technology in the classroom. So SAMR is a model designed to help teachers integrate, design, infuse, and develop technology-driven learning experiences for the students. So this is also a model that we can consider to be addressing the first order application of technology, which is substitution and augmentation, meaning this is substitution and augmentation. This is the enhancement part. And then the higher order change, which is modification and redefinition, this is the transformation stage. So let's look at this one by one. So substitution, this is, the first stage would be substitution. So for example, a traditional teaching practice is being substituted with technology. So wala pa pong functional enhancement here. This is just merely substitution. Ano po yung example na yan? A pen and a paper note-taking task can be substituted by asking the students to bring in laptops or tablets in class to take notes. Pero ang ginagawa po ng mga students ngayon, they just take a picture of your notes, or if we're projecting in a whiteboard or sa screen, pinipicturean nila yan. So wala pang functional enhancement. Yung identical task that's being done before the presence of technology is now just being performed with an aid of a gadget perhaps, or a computer or a tablet. So sinasubstitute lang natin. It's merely substitution. The traditional tasks being substituted using a specific technology. And then yung stage 2, which is augmentation, in this stage, meron ng konting functional change. Meron ng konting enhancement. So the technology now contributes to effectiveness and efficiency in performing a task. For example, let's use, again, the previous example of note-taking. So using a note-taking app with voice recording or dictation, so meron ng konting functional change. Meron ng capability to add photos and videos. If you're familiar with OneNote, OneNote is an app. It's a Microsoft app that you can use to organize your notebook. Meron din siyang available in mobile. So, pwede kayong i-open your OneNote app, you take a picture, it goes through a section in that notebook. So, pwede na rin kayong mag-note below that picture or above the picture. So, this help saves time and resources. So, no need to print. The app makes the notes more accessible to the students. So, in this stage, note-taking task is done in a quiet and quick and easy way. So, unlike dun sa substitution, type mo pa, pwedeng ipiprint mo pa. Dito, wala nang printing. Okay? You store the notes in the note-taking app that you use. Then, the next stage is modification. This is the first step to transformation stage. So, in this stage, teaching and learning transformation begins with the use of technology. So, let's use again the same example of note-taking. So, after you take a picture of the notes, after you store it in the note-taking app that you have, students can start creating their own digital notebooks that can be shared with their teachers and their classmates. So the teachers can also create digital notebooks kung saan pwedeng yung notebook niya, under her digital notebook, meron ding several notebooks ng mga students that's inside her digital notebook. So the teachers can provide immediate feedback in different forms. It could be in the form of a video, or a voice feedback. So, meron ng modification of the task. And then, the last stage would be redefinition. So, the total transformation stage. A whole new task is born out of the old task that is created, which is previously, hindi siya possible kasi wala namang technology available to do that. So, example, again, through an app or software or any tech tool, a student can produce an interactive and media-rich output that before is just being done via pen and paper. The output can be in a form of a video, a podcast, a webcast, or a blog. And then that output can be shared to other students for comments and suggestions. The output can also be shared in social media where people can provide more inputs and insight in an instant. The output can also be shared or can also serve as a resource to others who are studying the same subject matter worldwide. So yung learning, hindi na confined sa loob lang ng four walls of our classroom. Okay? Pwede na siyang maging global ngayon yung reach. And it happens in an instant because there's already technology available. Dati hindi siya possible. Now, to illustrate this, okay, this is how the transformation happened. Substitution and augmentation is the enhancement part. This is the first level over here. And then the transformation stage is here, modification and redefinition. So let me, there. So in the substitution level, I will use another example over here. Okay. Use of Word or OneNote as a substitute for pen and paper for note-taking. That is substitution. So yung pen and paper note-taking, we substitute that. We use either OneNote or Word or any other note-taking app or software. Okay. And then how do we augment that? Where technology acts as a direct tool or substitute with functional improvement. So OneNote or any note-taking app can be used to organize lectures and resources. So meron ng konting functional change. Okay? And then, paano natin siya ita-transform? How do we transform that? Okay? In the transformation stage, okay, which starts with modification, so meron ng task redesigning. We can use OneNote to share the notes, resources, and even lesson plans among teachers and students. And then to redefine that, we can even use OneNote to create digital textbooks and integrate it with other tools, any tools, Microsoft tools, for example, or Google, any Google tools also, like Sway for digital storytelling activities. So dati, hindi ito pwede. Hindi tayo makakreate ng digital textbook integrated with so many other tools kasi there's no technology available for us to do that. Now, it's already possible. And aside from this, meron din tayong mga learning management system that we can also use to make this lesson accessible anytime and anywhere to our students. Okay? Let me provide you with another few more example of this. Okay? So more example of this activity. So probably ito yung isa sa mga activity na favorite natin. Film viewing. Taas po kamay ng mga nagfi-film viewing. Say yes to the chat box if you do a lot of film viewing. Ako, I do this a lot. Okay? Film viewing. Ayan, tingnan natin kung sino mga nag-yes to film viewing. Sir Gilbert says yes. Sir Roland also says yes. Ako, mahilig din ako sa film viewing. So, after the film viewing, of course, the next na task will be very common, reflection paper. Mapagawa tayo ng reflection paper or analysis ng film viewing. Sabi ni Ma'am Balu, yes daw. Yes to reflection paper. Yan. So, sa SAMR, this is how it happens. Letter S, okay, substitution from paper and pencil to typewritten and printed. Kasi dati, pag nagpa-film viewing tayo, the next na task will be reflection paper. What the students will do, they will just write it on a maybe yellow pad or white pad, okay? And then, i-submit sa atin as teachers. Tapos, checkan natin siya isa-isa. So, if we have 200 students, tapos, ang reflection ng students natin, on the average, 2 pages. So, meron tayong 400 papers to check. So, ngayon, what we can do is to substitute that. Okay? Substitution. Anong pwede natin, what can we substitute? Okay? Doon sa paper and pencil. Pwedeng typewritten and then printed. But the task is still the same. Parang ginawa lang nating digital. So, paano natin yan i-augment? Meron ng konting change, meron ng enhancement na nangyayari. From printed to online submission. So, anong nabago? Wala nang papers to print. Online submission na, paperless, kumbaga. So, we can now go to the beach without bringing all of those papers to check na nakakasira sa outfit of the day natin pag nasa beach resort tayo ngayon. Buksan lang natin yung cellphone natin and look at our email, yung mga submitted ng mga estudyante. Okay? Wala nang printing. So, efficient na. Okay? Nakatipid na sa resources and it's faster. Now, how do we enhance? How do we transform that one by one? Unti-unti natin siya i-transform. Modification is the next level. From paper and pencil to typewritten to online submission, ipa-level up pa natin siya. They can create, you can ask your students to create a blog, okay, a video blog of the reflection and share it in social media. And there's a lot of tools that we can use to do that. Ako, one of my favorite tools is Sway, okay? Pwede rin ang WordPress or any other blog sites that they can use. So I ask them to create a blog about the film or the movie that you've asked them to watch instead of writing it on a piece of paper or typing it and printing it or just submitting it to you online. Allow them to be creative. Okay? Pa-create kayo ng blog sa kanila, a video blog, tapos share it in social media. And then, if you want that to be even more high-tech, okay, the students, if they're feeling a little bit more creative, can even create a short film out of the film that you have asked them to watch, or maybe a webcast or a podcast as an expression of his or her analysis on the digital film. So, ano na yung ginagawa nila ngayon? They're creating a digital story, digital storytelling output using different applications. And then the output, okay, can be shared not only with their classmates, but also can be shared to a lot of people. Yung iba, pwede pa nila yan ilagay in YouTube. Okay, this will be available in social media. And then, okay, the output can now generate number of likes, comments, and reshare. So, meron ng analytics doon. And then the comments given by the viewers can also be used as another point of discussion in class. Okay? So, Let me just read in the chat. Okay, sabi ni Sir, yes, they have been doing SAMR na daw. And then Sir Roland is using Flipgrid. Okay, that's good. Okay, so this can be, these are the things that we can do. Sometimes, like what Sir Rolandas mentioned, na ginagawa na pala natin, hindi natin alam na SAMR pala ito. Okay, so ang kailangan na lang natin is to even more level it up. No? I'll give you another example. Okay, yan. Sino po ang teacher dito sa math? Napili ko pong example yung math, pero huwag niyo po akong tatanungin about mathematics. Hindi ko po alam why I always choose this. Oh, Miss Pham is raising her hand. Ayan. So, an activity could be discussion on mathematics. Calculate, Miss Pham, please let me know if I'm, kung tama ang aking example. Calculate the distance and time of travel from Manila to Pangasinan using paper and pencil. This is the most common thing that we use, right? Magko-compute yung mga estudyante using paper and pencil. How do we substitute that? Pwede nang gumamit ng scientific calculator. That could be substitution. Augmentation could be a use of a software or use of softwares. Modification could be use of digital maps to calculate the distance. But redefinition, raise hands po if you're familiar with this app that's being used, widely used now, Waze. Sino pong familiar sa Waze? Ayan, Miss Pham is raising her hand. Ayan, so kung familiar po kayo sa Waze, if you are driving, yung mga nagda-drive po diyan, or even if you're not driving, okay? Ayan, yung mga gumagamit po ng Waze, Waze is an app that we use to get direction. Okay? Kung saan tayo pupunta, ako, I survive using Waze and GPS. Okay? So, paano po natin gagamitin yung Waze sa discussion sa math? So, Waze, okay, the travel time, after na makompute nila using a paper and pencil, pwedeng pa-download din nyo ng app yung mga bata or kayo na lang as a teacher kung kunyari walang access yung mga bata to an app. And then tingnan kung tama ba from Manila to Pangasinan, sabi nung computation ko sa paper and pencil, it's X number of kilometers. Tapos X number of hours. So, is it gonna be the same when we look at it in Waze? But aside from that, this app also gives us alternative routes. Saan-saan pwedeng dumaan. When is the best time to leave, which is optimization. Ngayon, this app, using it in your problems in math, pwede nyo nang i-level up the problem, the mathematical problem that you're giving to the students. Instead of just simply calculate the distance from Manila to Pangasinan or from one point to another, i-level up nyo po yung inyong question. Okay? Because nowadays, hindi na distance na lang yung tinitingnan. There's a lot of factor to be considered. Number one is the traffic. Okay? Yung traffic is already a factor. Pwede kasi we compute for the shortest distance, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the shortest distance will also be the fastest. Because the shortest could be one of the most heavy in traffic. What you're seeing in my screen now, this is like, this is only last night. I went to Pampanga last night, and on my way home, from Evilla lang, kinalculate ko yung distance. So if I pass by Daanghari via Bacoor, 21 kilometers, 52 minutes. Okay? By Gentry, almost the same. Okay? Pero 55 minutes. If I take SLEX, that's 56 minutes, pero 30 kilometers. Almost 9 kilometers yung difference, pero look at the difference in minutes of travel. Almost, ilang minutes lang po yung difference. 1 minute here and 4 minutes here. Pero look at the traffic. If you pass by this one in Bacoor, 11 minutes ka stuck sa traffic. This one is 12 minutes. If you take the longer one, 6 minutes lang yung stuck mo in traffic. Right? So, anong value nito? if this is decision making, if we're teaching our students to learn how to make decisions and to think critically, calculating the distance from one point to another may no longer be enough. We need to teach them how to make decisions now. What is the best route to take, especially kung sa logistics sila magtatrabaho. Or if the work involves delivery. Diba? Because it's easy to calculate from one point to another, that's the distance. But right now, that may no longer be effective because we have to look at the alternative route because of the traffic. So optimization and best route to take. And we can do that if we integrate an app just like this one. So meron ka ng analytics doon. We're developing the mathematical skills of the students. At the same time, we're developing their critical thinking skills and decision-making skills. Saan po ako dumaan kagabi? You might wanna ask. Kasi aside from the distance and the number of minutes, I also have to consider gas consumption. So may economics na din doon sa problem natin sa math na nagsimula lang sa calculate the distance, right? If I get stuck in traffic for 11 or 12 minutes, pwede nyo nang i-add dun sa mathematical problem ninyo yung gas consumption. Versus, mas stuck lang ako ng 6 minutes dito sa 30 kilometers. Baka mas malaki yung consumption ko sa gas. But then again, pwede rin nating sabihin na, okay, I will wait for 11 and 12 minutes, pero nakatipid ako ng 9 kilometers. Yung number of hours ba versus the distance na 9 kilometers or number of minutes that I have to wait, how much gas consumption will be, how much gas will I be consuming from there? So, this one, okay, is one of the things na pwede nating idagdag, i-level up dun sa mga mathematical problem na pwede nating ibigay sa mga estudyante natin. Okay? So, we're now leveling up the way that we are creating our questions also, which started, if you will allow me to go back one more slide, it started only with calculating the distance and time of travel from Manila to Pangasinan. So, pwedeng, I will pass by EDSA, maigsi ang travel ko, but I will stay in traffic for an hour versus taking a longer route, which is faster. So, of course, as a teacher, hindi tayo ang sasagot niyan. We allow our students to answer that and to think. With an aid of technology, which could be Waze or GPS or any other technological edtech tools that you think you can use, okay, to enhance, to transform that simple question of math. Or pwede rin naman na, like, you ask them to build something using Minecraft, if you're familiar with Minecraft, okay? Pwedeng, we take the same problem, calculating the distance, and you ask the students to show you the different routes that they can take and produce it in Minecraft. Allow them to create something in Minecraft. Okay? So there's a lot of many things that we can think of. There's a lot of examples that we can think of. Okay? So another would be, if you're using a learning management system in your school, so how is this, how the SAMR applies to that? Okay? So the substitution level in the learning management system, okay, if you have a learning management system, ano-ano ba yung mga learning management system? Okay. There's a lot of learning management system that's available in the market, but one of the most popular that we have now is Neo LMS, okay, that's a learning management system provided by Cypher Learning. So how do we use an LMS in SAMR? So LMS is used as a substitute for printed syllabus, printed handouts, textbooks, and a paper and pencil assignment. Even yung rubric that we use, pwede natin i-substitute yan, yung gradebook and other reading materials. Then the augmentation part, okay, a little bit of enhancement. The learning management system can be used to organize the teacher's content, lesson plan. Okay, you can do classroom management, like attendance checking, if it's available in your platform. The seating chart, the calendar of activities and announcement. And then the resources and other instructional materials, like your lesson plans or the learning paths of the students, okay, can also be organized inside your LMS, including resources from different sources. Can also be integrated. And then to modify that, you can use your learning management system for blended, flipped, or fully online delivery of instruction. Okay. So lecture online could be activity in the classroom if you're using Flip or whichever model you're using. Now, to redefine that, ma-level up natin yan. Your learning management system should enable you to have a differentiated instruction and allows for an adaptive learning, meaning automatically the system detects now based on the previous performance of the students, the performance of the students from the previous task, what do you want the system to do? You can automate that. Then the assignments can also be redefined in such a way that the students can be allowed to transform and produce the output in the best way that they can and the best way that they know. It could be screencasting, okay? And then put it in the LMS. Okay. So SAMR, in a nutshell, allows us to be even more creative, to do something different, with different from how we're doing things now. We allow the students to be the center of the classroom. Okay. So ibig sabihin ba nito that uh, tayo mga teachers will no longer be relevant? Of course not. Okay. We just need to be ready to embrace the change. Okay? Getting ready is very important. We need to start rethinking our role as educators. We will always be relevant. We can never be replaced by any technology. But teachers who are probably not using technology can be replaced by teachers who uses technology in their classroom. So, as educators, ang role natin ngayon, thinking about SAMR, how do I redefine, how do I enhance the way that I teach? How do I transform the way that I teach, and how do I transform the way that my students are learning? Okay, we need to start rethinking of that. We can no longer be the center of attention in the classroom. It has to be the students. Okay, we need to help our students take charge of their own education. Okay, by transforming the way that we teach. But that does not mean, again, that we become irrelevant as teachers. What we want to happen is we want our students to become more self-sufficient, that they will develop the skills they need so that they can be more ready for the future. Okay? So what happens now, tayo mga educators, okay, we become facilitators. We spark the idea, we share the knowledge, and then we guide our students in transforming the way that they learn and the way that we teach. Okay? We need to guide them so that our students would learn how to take charge of their own education. Meaning to say, wala na pong masyadong spoon feeding. Okay? We need to be there as their guide, okay, and facilitate learning. Okay? If we want our students to be future-proof, no more spoon feeding. Kasi mahirap din naman sa atin lang lahat ng gagaling. Yung knowledge, tayo lahat, binibigay natin lahat sa estudyante. Baka pag nag-apply sila ng trabaho, they would ask, ma'am or sir, pwede niyo po ba akong samahan? I will apply for a job. Can you come with me? I'm taking a board exam. Can you come with me? We don't want that. Okay? Our students must learn how to create. They need to be able to take charge of their own education. They need to learn by doing, and they need to become even more independent. Okay? I just want to share with you some of the skills, the 21st century skills, and the future work skills by 2020. So these are those skills. So the 21st century skills: empowered learner, digital citizen, knowledge constructor, innovative designer, computational thinker, creative communicator, and global collaborator. Versus these are the skills by 2020 that will be, that the industry are going to be looking for their future employees. So this is where we come in. Transform the way that we teach. Use the SAMR model. Okay? But probably you're thinking, how do I get started? How do I get started? We don't even have that kind of technology in our classroom. Okay? So you can start by evaluating where you or your school is at right now in terms of technology integration in the classroom. Okay? using different international standards and the SAMR model as well. So for example, this one, okay, at the first level, sana yung school nyo? Are you in the level where you are in the pre-emerging or emerging? Are you in the level where you're just trying to investigate and raise awareness about using technology in the classroom, which is that part is the substitution part, okay? Or are you in the engaging level already, okay? Where you are trialing and establishing, okay? You're augmenting. Or are you in the part where you are already extending, starting to modify, and you're effectively aligned, you have effectively aligned process and practices in the use of technology in the classroom? Or are you in the highest level already of empowering, where technology make new ways of learning possible? You need to evaluate where you're currently, asan kayo, asan yung school, okay? And upon doing that, think of where you want to start. Okay? It depends on the evaluation, kung nasa na yung school nyo, that's also where you can start. It's always, for me, you don't really need to force it. You can always start simple, start easy. Start with substitution. Think of the traditional things that you're currently doing in the class and think of, you know, how do you substitute technology to those traditional things. Start with the simple, like the example natin kanina, paper and pencil. Very simple. How can I use technology as a substitute to paper and pencil? And then gradually, okay, moving to the next level of augmentation, then modifying, and then right after that, okay, totally changing. But the essence is still there. The concept is still there. Okay, we don't really need to force things to happen right away in an instant. Okay, palaging we can start simple. Very simple. Ako ang ginagawa ko, just to share with you very quickly. Sometimes, you know, I create 5 columns in a, I use Microsoft Word, 5 columns. First column, nandun yung mga activities na ginagawa ko. The second column is the substitution. So in the first column, if I would say computation or paper and pencil test. Second column, substitution. How can I substitute it? Third column, how can I augment it? Fourth column, paano ko pa siya ma-level up, modification. And then the fifth column, how do I transform this task? So that you can use that kind of exercise just to write down all of the tasks that you're doing that you think is still in a traditional mode, and then gradually leveling it up. Okay? So, with that, I will leave you with this, just a simple advice. Getting the students to be ready for the future and to be part of a highly technological workplace is definitely a huge challenge for us teachers. But I know that this can be done if we prepare and if we embrace the growth mindset. Okay? I hope that you learned in our webinar today. I will unmute you and see if you have like questions that you want to ask. Meron po ba kayong tanong? We'll have like a few more minutes for question and answer. I hope that you were able to learn something in today's webinar. So anyone who wants to share or probably wants to ask questions, you're free to ask. The recordings will be shared to everyone. And we will also provide you with the certificate of participation. Meron po bang tanong? Questions po? Violent reaction? I hope that you learned something. And yeah, tingnan natin, meron bang question? Thank you very much. Ayan, sabi ni Sir Rolando Sodario na encounter ko ito during our research congress. And I hope that you can also share this with your co-teachers. Okay? Magkaroon kayo ng konting SAMR activity in your classroom. para matulungan. Yes, Ma'am Malu. You can ask question po. I-unmute ko lang po kayo. Hi, Ma'am Malu. Yes po. You can...
Hello, Ma'am. Good morning po.
Hi, Ma'am. Yes po.
Yes, thank you for that very informative and comprehensive sharing about SAMR. And thank you for this opportunity in sharing your knowledge about that model. Now, I don't know that I could watch how SAMR could be contextualized in the Philippine setting. However, I could watch tutorial on SAMR via YouTube, but then I am just curious as to how you contextualize SAMR using the gadgets at your disposal through webinar.
Sorry po, ma'am. Paulit po.
Hello po. Yeah. My point is, how do you conduct webinar using the gadgets at your disposal?
So yung mga gadgets po natin, webinar po,
Yes,
yung
like yung right now, how do you conduct webinar po? 'Di ba nagpa-participate na po kami sa inyo, no?
Yes,
via
po,
webinar.
Yes.
We used to do video conferencing
yes.
before.
Yes.
However, it seems that webinar is likely to be more more practical, as we used to have via video conferencing before. So how did you do this webinar, ma'am? Using any gadget, or using the gadgets that you have? Are you at home or somewhere else?
Yes. Right now po, I'm just using my laptop.
Okay.
The same that you're using your laptop now, and then we're using Zoom. Zoom is a video conferencing tool.
Okay.
We share link, yung pong link that we have shared with you. So yung video conferencing and webinar, they're actually similar. No?
Excuse me, ma'am. So yung Zoom has to be downloaded?
Not necessarily po. Kung kunyari, like ako yung nag-host ng seminar, we already have the Zoom app. I just provided you with the link. So kung kayo po yung, if you want to use Zoom also, you can go to zoom.us and then gawa lang po kayo ng account. Meron pong free. May free po na, tawag dito, may free naman po na subscription for Zoom.
For how many months po? 6 months po ba, ma'am? 6 months? Ganun?
Wala naman po siyang duration yung free, pero ang meron lang po sa kanyang limit is the number of minutes. So kung free po yung Zoom, you'll be given mga 40 minutes for
okay.
that. Okay. So from Sir Roland naman, sabi niya, I got a comment from a student na hindi raw sila makahabol sa paggamit ng technology. Sir Roland, are you there? Can you please let, paki in details lang po. Ano po ibig sabihin na hindi sila makahabol? Is it because they don't have like some students, I want to use technology, pero some students are holding me back because they are not used to it. Marami pa rin gusto ay lecture. This is one of the challenges daw that Sir Roland is facing. I can see Sir Roland. Sir Roland, would you like to share your experience?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning, Sir Roland.
Ayan, kasi sa klase ko, instead of using writing materials like sa reflection, instead of writing essays dun sa assessments, I use Flipgrid para doon nila i-share yung kanilang reflection by just, video platform siya. So parang nag-selfie lang sila, nagsasalita sila sa harap ng camera. And then they send it. So that's one. And then I also ask them to use Wix site.
Yeah.
Okay. So yung kanilang mga, like kung meron akong project, instead of the usual PowerPoint presentation, I ask them to use Wix site. Kasi maganda din siya para ma-share sa iba, hindi lang yung doon sa klase. So yung mga ganon, parang sabi nila dahan-dahan kasi masyadong madami yung kanilang kailangang aralin.
Yeah.
Na uh, in a way, na-surprise ako kasi these are the Zen, di ba? Ano, ang tawag doon? Millennials na sanay na sila sa gadgets pero parang na-realize ko na sanay lang silang manood at mag-like.
Mag-share sa
And
social
mag-share.
media.
Yeah, but to ask them to be creators and producers, medyo parang bago sa kanila. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I can relate to that, and probably most of us here can also relate to that. Na pagdating sa academics na, pagdating na sa class na, no, if you ask them to create something, they feel that, ay, this is academic, ang hirap palang mag-create, ang hirap palang mag-isip. Kasi hindi sila sanay sa ganon.
Yeah.
Pero, when you ask them to share their experiences, latest travel, outfit of the day, they can easily share that in social media. Perhaps, what we can do is, siguro pwedeng gawin natin, isipin natin, so my students like sharing things in social media, the outfit of the day. Pwede kayang, ang pa-activity ko sa kanila, your outfit of the day related to, sir, what are you teaching, Sir Roland?
Art appreciation.
Art appreciation. So, pwede bang, ang ipagawa mo sa kanila is, they go to the classroom, wear your outfit of the day, and i-connect natin siya sa art appreciation.
Yeah,
and then,
pwede naman.
Pwedeng take a selfie of yourself wearing your outfit of the day and then share it in social media. Baka pwedeng ganun din. Could be something like that. Na parang related dun sa anong hilig mo, anong hilig nilang gawin. Tapos i-relate natin dun yung pinapagawa natin mga activity. Could be something like that also. Kasi I agree pag nakita ng mga estudyante na parang, ay, so super academic na to. Parang, ay, ayoko na. They're asking us to create or to think. Pero kung medyo in line with what they like, tapos we infuse yung teaching and yung some academic kind of thing there, pwede siguro, it might work.
Yeah, tama. Thank you.
Sir Rolando, are you still there? Yes, I can share with you a little bit more of about Neo LMS. You can send me an email po. Ma'am Malu, are you still there?
Yes, okay, I'm listening po. I'm listening po. I will, if we have more time, I could probably send you emails for other questions. I do have more concerns, but then it will take more time po.
Sige po, you can send me an email. Anytime you have my email naman po, if you have other questions, you can send me.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Sir Gilbert is sharing something po about Zoom. Sabi niya, for starter, we can do it with teachers training using Android phone, DB maximum of 50. Thank you for sharing that, Sir Gilbert. And then, ayan, sabi ni Sir Gilbert, then you can try flip. So may questions po kayo. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
May camera. Ayan na, kita nyo na po ba ako?
Yes, ma'am. I'll keep in touch with you po.
Sabi ni ma'am kanina, she's wondering kung saan ako ngayon. Nandito lang po ako sa bahay.
Oo, curious po kasi ako pag set up ng webinar kasi I'd like to do that also. I'd like to
yes.
My own class. I'm for beginners, so I'd like to make use of that technology.
I can help you po with that. I can assist you.
Wow, really, ma'am? Yes, I'd like to. Please.
Tsaka nasa bahay, nag-dress up lang ako today, pero nandito lang po ako sa bahay.
Yes, ma'am. I'll send you an email po for further questions po, ma'am.
Yes po. Sir
Thank you po. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you po.
Yes, Sir Gilbert, you can invite me po. And then si Sir Roland is also sharing Skype. Yeah, you can also use Skype in the classroom. Yeah. Sir Rolando, I can give you like
Ma'am, go for a while. Sandali lang po, ma'am, ha? May tao lang po. Sandali.
Yes, ma'am. So, Sir Rolando, I can, if you are interested in NEO, I can provide you with like a demo and probably help you out and how to start.
Wow! Salamat po.
Okay po, maraming pong salamat. Have a great weekend, everyone. And sana po ay ma-enjoy nyo ang weekend nyo today with your family. Feast of Immaculate Conception po ngayon. Kung may fiesta malapit sa inyo, pwede kayo mamiesta. Sa Roland, mamiesta na tayo. Ano po mga, sir, taga saan po si Sir Rolando? Bukidnon. Wow, taga Bukidnon si Sir. Sir Gilbert, taga saan po kayo?
Bukidnon ang malayo.
Malay po, ma'am.
Wow, ang layo ni Sir Rolando. Bukidnon pa. Si Ma'am Malu from where po?
From Caloocan po, ma'am. Caloocan.
Ah, Caloocan. Sir Gilbert, are you still there? Saan po kayo located? Alam, si Ma'am Miss Fam, kayo po. Malabon sa DepEd. Miss Fam?
Batangas City.
Batangas. Sir Alfie. Sir Alfie is also from?
I'm from Lipa.
Ayan. Oh, yan. Si Miss Fam is giving us a tour of her place. Ano, nandyan ang mga alaga natin dyan. Ay, ang cute naman ng mga babies mo, Sir Gilbert. Babies mo po ba yan sila? Ay, ang gagwapo. Wow. Hi, baby boy. What is that? What is that you're showing us? Is that your toy? Namin marinig, Sir Gilbert.
Invite po namin kayo, ma'am. Same setup webinar po.
Opo, yes po. No problem, sir. Just send me an email. I'll be happy to set up a webinar po with you and sa mga DepEd teachers. Kung gusto niyo po ako, ay sabi na, yung contact daw, Sir Roland, and pwede kayong mag-usap ni Sir Roland and Sir Rolando. Sir Gilbert, send me an email po. We can set up a webinar for the teacher.
Let's have phase 2 of this, ma'am. We have phase 2.
Phase 2, ma'am. Baka po ano na po after. Oh, fiesta, ano yan? Saan yan, Sir Alfie? Saan ba yan? Ayan, open. Pinaglalunch
Ay,
na
grabe. Sarap niyan.
Sir Alfie, fiesta ba sa inyo? Ito pala ang fiestahan.
Yaman talaga ni Alfie.
Ma'am Malu,
Yes, ma'am.
phase 2 po of the webinar probably early next year po. We will set up another webinar.
Meron pong pinote sa PELS na December 13.
Ay, opo, meron po another webinar. Iba naman pong webinar yun. You can also attend that.
Okay.
Yun, sige po. I won't
Bye, ma'am.
Tanghalian na po. Maraming pong salamat. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, ma'am. Maraming salamat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Sir Gilbert, email mo lang po ako. Bye-bye.
Mag-email, ma'am, ako sa inyo, ha. Mag-email.
Email lang po kayo sa akin if you have questions. Sir Rolando, I can give a demo of Neo.
Yan.
Bye. Thank you.
Send niyo po sa amin yung video nito.
Apo, I will send the video po.
Yes. Thank you po. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you po. Thank you to all.